Hello, everybody. Thanks for clicking play and for joining us for another episode of Phishing Fridays. We hope to educate a little bit today about how you can keep yourself safe online. And my name is Jesse Hill, and I'm the president of Tier 3 IT Solutions. And I'm joined by...
I'm Justin Grotto, and I'm a cybersecurity specialist at Tier 3 IT Solutions.
Yes, and he underplays his title. Truth be told, he's putting a lot of this content together, and he's got a lot of the insights into how these things work. So today we're going to be talking about the anatomy of a phishing attack. So just to start off, Justin, maybe help set the stage for defining what is a phishing attack, and maybe at a high level, how does it work?
Sure. So really, there's three distinct, components of a phishing attack. It always has a communication or a delivery method. So like how they're going to send it to you. So that's the email, that's a SMS tag, like a text message, or a phone call. And there's a human vulnerability, so that they're exploiting. So someone's maybe afraid of something, or they are trusting someone, or they're believing some of the background, or the what the attacker is telling them. And then there's a human input or an interaction. So there's always going to be either a click of a link, or entering your password and your username into a field, or it's just having a conversation with the person over the phone and giving them that information, or doing what they want you to do.
It's funny, you started off and said there's a communication or delivery method. And I have for years, talking with clients, when they've asked questions about email problems, I've explained to them that the email infrastructure that we use to send messages electronically works in a very similar manner to the traditional physical mail delivery system. And, phishing attacks are not new to email. For generations, people have been getting, actual addressed letter mail that is intended to defraud them in some way or another. There's actually been quite a rise in recent years of people getting fraudulent notices and other documentation from agencies that look like the Canada Revenue Agency, or a local registry's office or something like that. So knowing that these types of attacks are not new, how is email maybe accelerating or making it easier or expanding the reach of people that are trying to carry out these attacks?
Well, with an email, it's instant, right? Like it seems like it's instant, at least. So as soon as someone clicks send, they send that message to you. You can interact it within, as soon as it hits your inbox. And then, some of those, what the attackers are using is that links, the login pages, that the fake login pages, those things. Before anyone can tell you not to do that, or you can question whether you should be doing it or not. You're able to enter this information, or click that link, right? Download whatever it's asking to download. So it's
speed.
Instant. Yeah.
The speed, there's a couple of things. I mean, first of all, they can deliver it much faster than traditional snail mail. They can also deliver a lot more of them.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, thousands at a time. There is, if you have systems in place to detect, like, there's the same message maybe hitting a bunch of inbox, it'll get flagged as a spam. You have these filters that identify this stuff. But a lot of cases, that's a lot how like marketing works, and most of the companies that send regular communications anyway, that's completely legitimate. So it's that balance between, are we being a bit too sensitive or not sensitive enough with our filters.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that I wanted to maybe point out that, the electronic fraudsters have a benefit of is if I was sending out 10,000 pieces of mail, I would have no idea how many people actually opened that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas with an email, I can set up a tracking token within the email so that even if they open it, I know that person opened it, or I can use tracking links. And the fraudsters are using all of this information to get much more targeted. If you are likely to fall for a small scam, you're more likely to fall for a medium or a large scam as well. So, that's a couple of ways that the delivery method has changed over the years. But let's talk about that human vulnerability, because, we talked about it in our previous episodes that, I think it was something like 90% of cyber incidents can be traced back to a human vulnerability, we'll call it in today's. So
Yeah.
what does that look like in terms of a phishing attack?
Well, the human vulnerability comes from kind of like our psychology, right? I'm not qualified to talk too much about it, but I do know a lot about this particular, this case. What the threat actors are going to do, and the bad guys do, is they're going to try to set up some sort of pretext. They're going to like get you to think that they're credible. So like they're going to maybe name drop your boss's name or a person that you work with name and be like, oh, I know this person. They told me to talk to you. Or they might have knowledge of your IT systems. Oh, I know you're on Kaseya. I know you're using this or whatever. Like they're going to use that information that they may have gotten a different place to make you think that they're more legitimate. They're going to use sorts of like influence. They might impersonate your boss. They might impersonate the CEO of the company to, or a police officer, to kind of make you feel like this is like urgent, and you use your critical thinking less, right? They don't want you to think critically. They don't want you to have time to consider. So they might use a sense of urgency to get that maybe fear or an obligation or any like level of doubt to make you to influence your decision making in a really quick period of time, so that you can you're going to lower your guard.
Mm-hmm.
They might even use positive emotions too. They might get your sense of empathy. Uh, help me out with this one, and like a quid pro quo type thing. Like that they're going to use maybe emergency or their child is sick or something, to get you to lower that guard and think that this person is who they think they are, why would they lie, kind of thing. And they're really good at it, especially some of the people that are talking over the phone and trying to get you to give up information. Those people in particular can be very, very convincing.
Yeah, and you gave a lot of examples there of different things that they might use to gain access. And what it seems to me in the business world, when people are falling for these phishing emails, it's usually that there's an opportunity or something that requires urgency. And so what we see frequently will be an email, something to the effect of, you've been invited to submit a proposal on this project, or we're blowing out this inventory, or something to that effect, where they're saying, if you click on this link, participate in what we have going on, your business has an opportunity. And if you're not really careful and looking at all of the different bits and pieces of how that email is constructed, where the link is taking you, it's relatively easy to fall victim, to a modern phishing attack. So, I mean, there's so many things that we talk about in these, and each scenario is a little bit different. And trust us, we didn't even prepare for this before we got on here. But, Justin, what are a couple of things that you think that the typical business user can do to protect themselves and their company from, a prospective phishing attack?
I think that's a really good question. Some of the things that you can implement is, aside from technical controls, like we can put technical, controls in place that makes it harder for the phishing email to get to the victim. But really, the best bang for your buck is through education, security awareness training, and the training in terms of like phishing simulations on a regular basis, just keeping that up to date and being able to see more evidence or more examples of what a phishing attack could look like. Interacting with those training is going to, at the end of the day, you're going to learn from those maybe possible failures. I clicked the link. Oh no, this time I clicked the link and it told me. I put my password and stuff in. Like you're gonna get that feedback. And it's gonna be a lot easier to prevent phishing overall if you have a security aware trained workforce.
Yeah, and I always equate these things back to kind of real world illustrations. And it's almost like saying, if our network technology was a building, a physical structure, and we as an organization said, we only want authorized people inside this building. We don't want people that we don't know to be able to come in and snoop around and sit at desks and open doors and drawers. One of the most basic things that we would do is we would say, the doors are all locked. Unlock the door for yourself, come in, lock the door behind you. Don't let other people in. Well, it's very clear and obvious when we're in a physical environment what a suspicious person looks like. But every time we open an email and we click on a link, we're inviting that content into our computer, into our network. And if we're not proactively, really aggressively thinking about whether it's legitimate or not, we might be inviting those intruders into our network. So we don't want to go too long on these sessions, so we'll leave it here. We'll pick it up again on our next one. Thank you, Justin. Thanks everybody for joining us for another episode of Phishing Fridays.
Thank you.